Alright, hello everybody, yes, we are back with yet another build log. Of course, we've upgraded my main rig over there, but we haven't upgraded my travel rig, which is long overdue an upgrade. It has seen a couple of incremental upgrades since I fitted the water cooler. Of course, it's now running my 4790K, but that's just not quite fast enough. So, a few things have happened lately, and as a result, I've been able to go ahead and get the majority of its upgrades sorted. Which means today we are fitting it. What are we getting today? Well, stay tuned after the intro. Alright, so what we are installing today is a Ryzen 9 5900X, a ASRock X570 ICX TB3 motherboard. Yes, there is one reason I'm getting this, and it's because it's the only motherboard I could find that was ITX that happened to have Thunderbolt 3. On top of that, we've also got 32GB of course, the same Corsair Vengeance LPX memory that I use in that rig, as well as a Sabrent, well, NVMe 4.0 1TB SSD, because, oh my god, those things are nice. But yeah, so, I'm going to go ahead and, well, leave you all and start building this, so we can go ahead and get to the building montage. Hope you enjoy, folks, and I will talk to you all after it's done. Okay, so first things first, and obviously we need to go ahead and take apart the PC as it currently stands so we can go ahead and install the new hardware. That means removing the graphics card, removing all the various parts that, well, hold the PC together, and of course getting the cooler and motherboard out, because obviously, well, the cooler is connected to the motherboard, and because it's an AIO, it's actually connecting, well, the rest of the case to it, so obviously we need to get rid of that so we've got some more room to work, so we can actually take out the motherboard as planned. And motherboard out, so we can start sorting out, well, the new motherboard. Now, there's a reason I'm actually using all the foam like this. You see, my plan is that once I've gone ahead and put this in, obviously I've got an NVMe drive. The NVMe drive is going to get pretty damn toasty, so that's actually feeding into my plan on how I'm going to cool the NVMe drive, which you'll see in the next segment or so. Anyway, just going to finish off preparing the motherboard ready to go into the case, and the next thing really is to get it installed. So we're going to go ahead and put the motherboard into the case, screw it down nice and tightly so it's obviously not going to go anywhere. Install all the cables as usual. I may have had to do this a couple of times because there was an issue with the board which I thought was related to the way it was mounted. No, it's just, I don't know. For some weird reason, this board doesn't like going into BIOS with the configuration that I've got unless you do it from Windows, so I had to redo this a couple of times. Anyway, take out the old hard drive from its hard drive caddy and put it back. Anyway, so here's the plan. We're going to put a fillable pad onto the M.2 drive. We are then going to go ahead and cut up a load of aluminum foil. Aluminium, the Americans getting me to say it now. And we'll basically use that to bridge the gap between, of course, the NVMe drive and the case, so we can actually use the case itself as a heatsink. This doesn't work super well, but it works a lot better than just leaving the drive by itself. In fact, it cuts temps like from the 80s to the 50s, so hey, it's not brilliant, but it's a lot better than any alternative, so that's what we're going to do. Of course, with the foil there, obviously the foil can get ripped pretty easily, so we're going to put on some, well, this masking, packing, whatever you want to go ahead and call it, tape to cover it up so it doesn't get scratched by the case itself when it goes on. And that all sorted, it looks like we've got our motherboard in place. And we have a plan on how we're going to keep our drive cool. Okay, the only thing really left to do then is, of course, put the rest of it all together. So, wiping off all the thermal paste, making sure it's nice and clean, putting on our new cryonaut, spreading it out nice and evenly, putting the cooler on, which honestly is a lot easier now. Go ahead and sort the cables out. Not too bad. And we'll, of course, after we've done this, grab the graphics card riser, put in the graphics card, and it's all ready to go ahead and be booted up for the first time. So you've finally seen it. Good old Big Sky over here, getting the upgrade that she did, and yes, this is several weeks later. Things happened, cut my hand open, other things, kind of annoying. Yeah, hence the reason why this video is sort of being filmed 3 weeks ago and also filmed today, so yeah, that's a thing. But anyway, as I was getting back to it, so you've seen it, Big Sky, finally upgraded. I've sorted out all the little issues I was having, because, fun fact, like always, I have just niggling little weird things with these ASRock boards. Like, don't get me wrong, This motherboard is freaking amazing. I mean, having one PCI Gen 4 means that this now has, of course, my favourite, the Sabrent Rocket NVMe 4.0 drive, you know, 1TB NVMe 4th Gen PCI Express drive, you know, it's super freaking fast. On an ITX board in a case that was never designed for it. And on top of that, it also comes with Thunderbolt 3, which even that doesn't come with straight away. You have to get an add-in card for it. And other things that have also happened. Since then, I've also upgraded my GPUs in my main rig, which means this has now actually received the GTX 1080 like it was always meant to. You know, which is, again, another nice thing to have. Other things that also happened, so whilst this has also been going on, I got myself one of these. This is I think it's called StarTech, the company that makes this. This is literally just a simple 1-foot DisplayPort cable, because obviously this has got Thunderbolt 3. As part of that, you can use DisplayPort to, you know, carry a signal over it, which is the reason I've got this. So of course, I can plug this in, and if I'm using a dongle or a desk, wherever it is, this means that of course I can have this in another room and still be able to, you know, get a display out of it without too much issue. Plus, not to mention, these are pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, just having little sort of patch cables like this, because it's a bit big for a patch cable, but small enough that I'll let it slide. It's a nice thing to have. Final thing that I want to know, because of the sheer power of the Ryzen 9, not to mention GTX 1080 and all the other things in this rig, it does actually get a little bit toasty. So what I've done to counteract that is that the GPU is still running its overclock, which is what you mainly want, but the CPU, the 3900X, is actually running on eco mode. Now, granted, I could probably, with a bit of fine-tuning, get a manual overclock out of it, but I just prefer eco mode. It's nice, it's simple, there's no worry about voltages, it just runs nice and simple, restricts its wattage, and as a result of that, it sits quite happily in around about 75 degrees Celsius. Keep in mind, in this case, the only airflow it gets is actually through that vent there from the graphics card, so it's not exactly well ventilated. So the fact that, of course, it can run 75C without any issues, I'll take it. On top of that, the memory that I picked, the Vengeance LPX DDR4 by Corsair. Well, this time, because I'm only using 2 DIMM slots, it actually worked perfectly fine, and it is running XMP memory. Unlike that machine over there, which whilst is running at 3200, isn't running at the XMP timing, so I take what I can. I'm not going to complain, I've got XMP on it, it's 32 gigabytes of RAM, it's more than enough for most things. All in an ITX rig, it's kind of brilliant, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, that's how it looks. It works like a charm. I will actually do a review on the 3900X next week. It'll be a little bit interesting because I'm going to have to be doing a review on the 3900X if you have to use it in eco mode, / if you don't, sort of. But you can run it normally at stock, it's a little bit toasty. Just that little bit too toasty for me to be comfortable. It might be down to the fact the AIO isn't really suited to it. Might be down to the fact that, as we've seen in a previous video, these Noctua fans, they don't have as much airflow as other fans, but they are very silent. Either way, a couple of issues, which means I can't quite run it in stock for me to be comfortable with the temperatures that it produces, but it can run at stock if you're more comfortable with it sitting in the mid-80s up to 90s on extended workloads. Of course, that's not going to be everything. If you're just gaming, sure, run it at stock, no problem, but you're a person like me that does a lot of video rendering, and more than that, you also do a lot of video encoding on your CPU, then yeah, you're not going to really want to push it too hard, because it will enter then that extremely high thermal zone, which I don't really want it to be in. But bar that, honestly, this rig's amazing. Like, I can't get over it. Just the amount of power that I have in such a small package. I mean, it genuinely rivals my main rig. Obviously, it's not as good, for the simple fact that it's down 4 cores. It's got a 1080 rather than a 1080 Ti, but the fact that it's still got all of that, despite the fact that it's not even 12 litres, it's kind of impressive. And on top of that, this actually does still have expandable storage capabilities, because it's still got 2 slots for 3.5 inch drives, as well as a slot for a 2.5 inch drive, which means what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an 8TB WD Red NAS drive to partition, so I've got 4TB dedicated to gaming storage, and then the other 4TB will be dedicated to, well, all my editing stuff. So of course I've got a lot of storage there, as well as mass storage for the future. On top of that, I'm also going to get a 1TB Samsung 860 EVO, which will act as a scratch disk for this, so obviously when I'm actually editing, it's a lot faster. So yeah, plans are in place, it's looking fine, can't wait to get on with it, and yeah. So all I can say then is, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. Everything featured today is in the description down below. Also in the description you can find my Facebook, Patreon and Twitch pages if you want to go ahead and support me there, because just me supporting me on Patreon allows me to do stuff like this a lot easier. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more content from me. As always, this is the 117th Con, signing off. Stay safe folks, I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, ta-ra.